Good morning, students. In this video, we are going to do the next part of the chapter under the heading Growth of Nationalism, and the topic that we are taking today is the precursors of the Indian National Congress. In the previous module that I gave you, you must have gone through it. It is all about the factors that led to the growth of nationalism. We did the socio-religious reform movements, how Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Jyotiba Phule, they made the people come and unite together to stand for a common cause and against a common enemy. After that, we also saw the role of press in uniting the people and also making them aware of all the freedom and democracy, liberty happening around the world, the conditions of different parts of the world, and the conditions which were lagging in India. So out of that, we can say people were filled with the feeling of oneness to do something for their country. This feeling of patriotism or nationalism, it turned out to be at a real high at this point of time. And then people, most of the leaders, those who were in the political ground, they wanted that there should be a particular organization, a particular group which should be so political in nature, which should have a complete pan-India character, and it should have a constituency, or you can say it should consist people from different parts of the nation. And they will be putting up together in front of the British the demands, the grievances of the common people in different regions. They would rather be the voice of the common man in front of the government, so that the government should listen to them and do accordingly as per the needs. Here we see later onwards that there were certain organizations which did start, but they were all local in character. But besides being local in character, they were nevertheless, they were not important. They were equally important because they laid the proper foundation, the area, the grounds for an all-Indian organization, and that was the Indian National Congress. So before Indian National Congress, there were other organizations which took place or which were started. We are not going to do all of them. There were more than 10-15 of them, but we are just going to take 2-3 of them, important ones, and after that we will move on to the Indian National Congress formation. So here we see that Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the pioneer of political movement in India, and it was who demanded liberty and the freedom of press and all the other things. So we can say of the modern age of the Renaissance of India, he is called the founder or the father of the Renaissance of India. But the first political association to be started in India was the Landholders Society, and it was started in Kolkata in 1838. Many such associations started in different parts of India, like Bengal, British India Society, British Indian Association, East Indian Association, London Indian Association. So these were various societies and associations which were started with a purpose that people should be able to put up their problems in front of as one group. Their one major problem, where one common problem should be put up in front of the British, so that they should pay attention to it and take needful steps. Otherwise, the demands of the common people in a very scattered manner was always neglected and overlooked by the British rule. So they wanted it should come together as united demand, and then it should be more effective, and the British probably will take actions for this. So these associations served as the base for the formation of Congress, because later onwards we do see that Congress was made with the same purpose, that throughout the country, throughout the nation, whatever the people have the problems, those problems will be put up in front of the British government in a very effective manner by the Indian National Congress. So these associations were like, you can say they were like rehearsing, they were practicing how a political organization is going to work, voicing the problems of the common people. Here we see the first important association that was made, which was in a little larger and effective, was the East India Association. Now remember, we were ruled by the East India Company, but that East India was British company. Here we are talking about the East India Association, which was the Indian association, Indian group, but it was somewhere in Britain. and there it was headed by Dadabhai Naoroji. So it was founded in London in 1866, and it was founded by Dadabhai Naoroji, who was the elder or the senior member of our, you can say, political group. He is also known as the Grand Old Man of India. He provided, this association provided all the information on all Indian subjects to the British citizens or members of the parliament over there. It voiced out all the grievances of the people over here, and Dadabhai was the person who was heading it, who was trying to do the work according to through this particular organization, making the British aware of the true condition of the people in India, because he was of this mindset that people in Britain, the British, are not unjust people, they are just and they are good people. The only problem is that they are not getting the real picture of the Indian scenario, what is happening in India. So he wanted to voice out through his association, voice out the real grievances, the real problems and hardships of the Indians in front of the British. And that is why he worked on this particular association, to voice and work as a medium between the Indian problems and the British Parliament or House of Commons. So later onwards, there were various branches of this association were also started, and these branches were in Mumbai, Kolkata, as well as in Chennai. We will not write Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. Whenever you will be writing this exam in these names in the exam, you will always write the names which were prevalent at that time. You will be writing it as Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. So the earlier names of Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, you will be writing Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. Next we have the second association that was started was Indian Association, and this was started almost 10 years later, because East India Association was started in 1866. This is started in 1876. It was meant to be an all India association, so that it has a characteristic of covering the entire nation, all parts of the country. It was headed by Surendranath Banerjee, who was from Bengal, and it also had, this association also had its members as in lawyers, professionals, and even the educated middle class. So it was a group of all the learned people, educated people, the people who knew a lot of things. It came out with an objective, with certain objectives, and the objectives were, first of all, creation of strong and body of public opinion, that people should be made aware that what are their problems, and out of those they should come with a strong opinion. Okay, we require this particular thing from the government, this is our priority. That means setting up the priorities. People were taught, people were made to understand what they really need. It should not be that when the people are asking you the problem, you tell all the frivolous things, the silly things, or those which are not so important, you focus more on them, neglecting those things which are very, very important for you. So they should be able to have or generate a dynamic one particular public opinion that was taught to them. The idea of this association was to teach them to make a public opinion, a common public opinion, which should be taken together in front of the the government, and then it would be heard effectively. Next was integration of people, Indian people, on the basis of common political interests, whatever they call common political interest, whatever their problems, whatever their particular focus is, on the basis of that they should be integrated, they should be combined together, they should be brought together. Promotion of this was one of the major things that happened after the Revolt of 1857, the divide and rule policy, which made the Hindus and Muslims go separate. So here the association desired that they will be working in the unification of the two basic parts of country, and making these two communities come together in friendly relations, the Hindus and the Muslims. Another important thing was mass participation in the public movements. The public movements are no longer supposed to be the groups of only the elite one, educated one, or the one those who are from the politically aware group, but rather they wanted to make these movements more mass in nature. That means more and more people to be added to it, making it as a huge movement where everybody is included in it. So they wanted every, you can say, common man to be made aware of the situation and to motivate him to get into the participate in the movement. Next we have achievements. Although they did not achieve as independence or anything, but they did stand up against certain rights which were passed on by the earlier, you can say, British authorities, like the License Act, Arms Act, Vernacular Press Act, even lowering of the age from 21 to 19 in the ICS examinations, Indian Civil Services, not in any particular, you don't have to confuse it with the ICSC or ISC exam. It is ICS, Indian Civil Service Examination. So it also took up cause of the workers of the British owned production houses. So everywhere they were working so that the problem of the common people could be brought in front of the British and some proper steps could be taken in regards to all these problems. Next, finally, we come to the third important particular association, and this third association is Indian National Conference. Remember the name, don't get confused. I'm not talking about Indian National Congress. It is Indian National Conference, which was founded in 1883. That means after Indian Association in 1876, just 7 years later, it was Indian National Conference. It was started by Surendranath Banerjee again, who convened the All Indian National Conference at Kolkata. As just like the Indian Association was started, it was here also that Indian National Conference was started by Surendranath Banerjee. It was the first meeting held in Kolkata, and later onward it offered a model which was very, very similar to that of the Indian National Congress. That means a pan-Indian association working for the benefit of all the region, all the people of the nation. Their problems together, whatever the common problem from one particular region is, that would be taken and brought in front of the British. So those things were taken over here. It was the National Conference held its second session in December 1885 in Kolkata. During the same period, there was Indian National Congress also, which was having its first session in Mumbai, because they were supposed to have it in Pune, but it was due to the plague broke out in Pune, so they had to shift the location and they shifted to Mumbai. There they were having this meeting. So here it was decided that both the organizations, Indian National Conference also and Indian National Congress also, one is in Kolkata, one is in Mumbai, but they are trying to do the work in the similar manner, trying to serve the similar cause. Every purpose, every objective is just the same. So later onwards it was decided that Indian National Conference will merge with the Indian National Congress, and this took place in December 1886. 1885 was the year when Congress was formed, and 1886 it was the Indian National Conference and Indian National Congress, they merged together under the name of Indian National Congress, which became a larger body and a pan-India political group. So here, as we have understood about how these all precursors laid the grounds, foundation and the characters of what an all India group has to be or should be like. So here after this we will read what was the way or how was the Indian National Congress formed. Here we see the formation of Indian National Congress. It is various political organizations mentioned earlier, like the East Indian Association, Indian Association and the Indian National Conference, even the other societies which I read about the names, Bengal British Indian Society and London Indian Society. These were all the societies, associations which were very, very local in nature. But this was one group which was made to be a larger group and should not be a group restrained to a local area. So it was all the activities of the smaller groups, however, prepared the proper ground for the creation of an all-Indian political association, because through this they understood from the flaws of the previous associations that what and where went wrong, and the rectification of those things were done in this particular organization. As a result, leaders like Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naroji, Firoz Shah Mehta and even Justice Ranade, they were all moving towards the formation of an all India association or all India political group. All these big names, big leaders, they were all in this together, and that is why this was considered to be one of the biggest organization to be started in India. But it was not only the Indians. Later onwards, they did get help, luckily, from the British side also, and this help from the British side came in the form of A.O. Hume, Hume, who was a retired British member, but he did favor that Indians were not getting the proper way of channel through which they could get their grievances put up in front of the government, and that is why he believed that this is the right medium, that they should be organizing an all-Indian organization which should be voicing out their problems to the British, and that is how they will be given equal opportunities to put up their grievances or to speak at least their mind out, heart out in front of the government. And even government will be able to have a better management when they know what people really are wanting or they are resenting. So they are angry of certain things, that will become clear. They are happy with certain things, that will become clear. They want certain things, that would become clear. So that is why A.O. Hume helped them a lot, and it was in 1884 that Hume, in consultation with the Indian leaders, laid the foundation of the Indian National Union. So it was Indian National Union which was first formed. Please listen to it very carefully, don't get confused. Indian National Conference पहले बन चुका था, अभी जो formation हुआ है that is Indian National Union. So it was Indian National Union was supposed to have its first meeting or first session after being laid, after the foundations being laid. The first session was supposed to take place in Pune, and that was somewhere on 1885, 25th December. But as there was plague broke out in Pune, so this venue was shifted to Mumbai, and there in Mumbai, the Indian National Union had its first session under the presidency of W.C. Banerjee, not as Surendranath Banerjee, but W.C. Banerjee, that is Womesh, W-O-M-E-S-H, Womesh Chandra Banerjee. Womesh Chandra Banerjee is often called as W.C. Banerjee. Surendranath Banerjee is often called as S.N. Banerjee. Both were from Bengal and both were very active leaders in the Congress formation. So please don't get confused. Thus, W.C. Banerjee was the first person who presided or who became the president of the Indian National Union. In this meeting, on the suggestion of the eldest member, that was Dada Bhai Naroji, the name was changed from Indian National Union to Indian National Congress. And that is how on December 28, 1885, the foundation of this particular organizations were laid on, and the formation of the foundation and the formation of the group organization that was done, the name given to it was Indian National Congress. I hope now the entire picture is clear. Indian National Conference 1883, they had their second session in 1885. At the same time, Indian National Union were also having their first session in Mumbai, where their name was changed to Indian National Congress. And then later onwards, it was decided Indian National Congress and Indian National Conference are having the same purposes, same ways of working, so they should merge together. As a result, they merged in 1886. And we got an even larger and a more pan-Indian characteristic kind of thing, and that was the proper formation of Indian National Conference. Congress. When Indian National Congress was set up, the British Viceroy in India, that was Lord Dufferin, he also favored the formation of the Congress because he wanted this Congress to act as a safety valve for the popular discontent. That means whatever the problem is there, or whatever the grievances are there among the Indians against the British, all those grievances, all those problems through this Congress will be brought to us. Obviously they might do something or they might not do anything. For that will not matter a lot, but at least for some time, for the time being, Indians will be satisfied that they are getting a particular channel to connect to the British, and they will be putting up their problems. It is up to the British whether they want to accept those demands or not, or they will might do some or the other things just to pacify the situation, to cool or calm down the people, those who are demanding for such things. And that is how they felt that it would be a safety valve where they will be happy and contented, because they will be able to control the Indian in a better way, making them feel happy and comforted that even they are getting a chance to put up their grievances in front of the British or in front of the government. Next, we have the main aims of the Indian National Congress and the other sessions of the Congress. So now we will strictly move on to the explanation and working and everything about Congress, but that we will do later. This is the last part of the chapter that we'll be doing in the coming up session, and with that we'll finish up this chapter and we will try to do some of the important questions of the chapter. So I hope you have got this particular book. Please go through these videos along with the reading of the text, so that you have both the text and the explanation in front of you and you understand it in a better way. Have a great day. With this we come to the end. Goodbye.